Before we get to the episode, exciting news. I have a new podcast, a second podcast. I am the host and producer of the Strandcast, the official podcast for Strand Bookstore in New York City at 12th and Broadway, the coolest independent bookstore. And now there's a podcast every other week featuring long-form conversations with authors from different genres. The Strandcast is available on iTunes and Stitcher. Just search for The Strandcast. Links will be in the show notes, of course, and make sure you subscribe so you never miss an episode. And now for the show. Hello there. Welcome to Talk Music Talk with Boice. I am Boice. This is my podcast you are checking out for that first time. Talk Music Talk listener. Talk Music Talk is a weekly music interview podcast where I have long-form conversations with people connected to music from different genres and different backgrounds, both established and emerging singers, singer-songwriters, music therapists, music journalists, and pretty much anyone else. On this new episode, I had the pleasure of speaking to Galcher Lustwerk, producer, rapper, DJ, originally from Cleveland, based in Brooklyn. Late last year, he released a wonderful album, his third full-length album called Information, out on Ghostly International. It is a wonderful, haunting take on deep house that sounds like no one else. In this conversation, he talks about how he's been making music since middle school, how his first instrument, the sax, is essential to his songwriting. He also talked about how he got into music production and DJing. We talked about his work process, vocal style, and the making of Information. And after the conversation, you will hear one of my favorite songs from the album entitled Bit. Special thanks to Forrest Juziak, I hope I said that right, for making this interview possible. Here it is, without further ado, my conversation with Galcher Lustwerk. Enjoy. How did you say your name? Galcher?
You can say Galcher, Galcher.
What do you prefer? Okay.
Galcher.
Galcher?
Yeah, pretty like the cut and dry
Galcher.
American pronunciation.
What is that from? What is the background of that name?
It's, I mean, I've kept it a secret for a while, but I might as well just say it because it's kind of silly. But it comes from a CAPTCHA. You know those internet CAPTCHAs where it's like jumbled up words that you have to type out?
And that was one of them.
Yeah, one day just those two words showed up in a CAPTCHA, and I'm like, that's cool. It kind of reminds me of like Doppler effect or you know, Heinrich Müller, like Der Cyclist, like all the Drexciya related projects that use like German words.
Okay, I like it.
So it's kind of like a kind of a throwback to that, or like an homage to that.
And you immediately, when you saw that, you're like, okay, I can do something with that.
Yeah, DJ name. Yeah.
Good. We were talking before. You recognized my Pittsburgh number before we started recording, and you're from Cleveland.
Yes.
How'd you get from Cleveland to Brooklyn?
Well, I got to the East Coast via college. I went to Rhode Island School of Design in Rhode Island. And then after I graduated, I stuck around there for a couple of years and just like did like odd freelance jobs. I would actually go to New York to do freelance work and come back to Providence and just live like super cheap.
Yeah.
But that got kind of boring after a while, and a lot of my friends moved to New York, so eventually, you know, I just kind of started getting in with some agencies there and just doing work down there, or down here, and so...
Design stuff?
Yeah, design stuff, branding, video, logos, all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, I moved to New York, like, almost 10 years ago now, and just I've been here since. Like, started just throwing parties here and there. A lot of them were in Manhattan because that was kind of what was popping, like in the early thousands. But it's kind of a crazy difference now. Like time has passed, and there's like a pretty healthy scene out here now. So I mean, at one point, I was thinking of maybe moving, but I'm probably not going to move for a while.
Okay. Yeah. So you went to RISD for design? What did you go for?
Yeah, graphic design.
Okay. And was that the career goal at the point?
It's for me, I was kind of just being practical. Like it gets a job, and it's the Rhode Island School of Design.
Yeah. It has
so
a
I was
name
just
behind it.
I'll do that when I'm sure to like, get a job coming out of that. So
yeah. Did you like RISD?
It was cool. I was like one of the few black students there, so there was sort of a lack of that sort of camaraderie. But at the same token, there's like so many people that are into like weird shit like me, like music wise or art wise or movie wise. So I felt like really at home with the people there, and Providence itself, like as a city, was really vibrant at the time. Like this band Lightning Bolt was kind of the biggest band to come out of Providence, but also like all these other smaller noise artists, Matt Brinkman and like Chris Forgs, and there's just like all these kind of local people that were just throwing shows in weird warehouses and all types of like, really precarious locations, nasty lofts with like pollution and like lead paint everywhere and stuff. So yeah, it was an adventure. It was cool. Yeah.
So you probably have lead poisoning now.
Something definitely. Yeah. Yeah.
Were you already into your music by the time you got there?
Yeah, I've been doing music since I was like in middle school. So I was kind of just exploring for a while, and I didn't really know how to mix music. So my music, while it was kind of weird and creative, it didn't necessarily sound like a finished product. And it wasn't really until like I met some local people in Providence that were DJs that they kind of taught me how to mix music and stuff like that. So my musical journey is kind of a long one. It's like a big arc. It's just getting into the software when I was a kid. Yeah. Then like getting into different genres, trying to replicate different genres, like trying to make like an Aphex Twin track with like Fruity Loops or
how'd that work out?
It's hard. I was like, how does he do this like complicated shit? And I'm trying to just use like the snare drum, like just make it do that. But like it started with technology, and then interested in the genres, and then interested in DJing, and then it kind of went full circle where I was like, all right, I should really try and put stuff out, like just, even if no one really sees it, get in the habit of like burning something to a CD, doing the artwork and like giving it to friends, just so it feels, it's because it's kind of awkward to like put your work out there and expect the right kind of feedback. So I was just kind of feeling it out for years and years and years, and like things just kind of hit when I started the Galcher project. Yeah. Like everyone around me was like ready to like just blow up. So it was kind of more timing than anything else. Yeah.
How'd you get from that point of a lot of people just make the music but they don't put it out there?
Yeah.
To get to like, okay, I got to put it out there regardless of what happens.
Yeah.
How'd you get to that? Or is that just naturally in you?
I mean, like when I was making music earlier in like my high school days, it would be really emo, and the lyrics would be kind of autobiographical and just quite literal. And that felt sort of weird to put out there because I didn't know what else to sing or rap about. So, I just kind of put things out there and got weird reactions from that. But like after a while, you kind of learn when it's ready for someone else to hear. Yeah. Or if you want other people to hear it in the first place. Or I mean, I have dozens of songs that I would never let anyone else hear just because they like mean a lot to me. like autobiographically.
Yeah.
You know, like, but to someone else, it could, out of context, it could just be like me being strange or emo or whatever.
Yeah,
like, I definitely have like a lot of emo indie stuff that's never gonna go anywhere.
So is Fruity Loops the first thing that you start making music on?
I started with the program called Acid Music,
okay,
Sonic Foundry. It was like a really primitive version of Logic or Cubase. So you just take loops and drag them across the timeline. And then once I got the Fruity Loops demo, and I would record synths and Fruity Loops, chop them up into a loop, and then bring them into Acid Music and sequence the track. So I was able to use Fruity Loops for free in that way. And I was just doing that for a long time. Like really influenced by, at the time, it was like a lot of this electronica, like Chemical Brothers and Prodigy and like very sample heavy, like breakbeat heavy. So I was, trying to emulate that sound without knowing what sampling was. Like I didn't even really get sampling at the time. So it was like a weird like bubble. And
you played synths?
I mean, I could play. Yeah, all the instruments on my album I play. And then although I like tweak it afterwards. But my main instrument's saxophone actually.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. When did sax start?
When I was like 9 years old or something. I don't really count it because it's it's like the thing that the school makes you do.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And but I do feel that kind of jazz centric education that I got through saxophone helped me with making melodies for tracks and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, like I feel like that's kind of an edge that I have where I'm able to quickly come up with like a soulful thingamajig,
Would you have guessed that when you started playing sax and then getting into like,
no,
electronic music?
I was kind of, for a while, I was really not into sax and just like into guitars. I just wanted to play chords because I was tired of just playing melodies and being in arrangements where you're just playing like, the lick or the melody or whatever. Yeah. I wanted to kind of compose chords, and because I feel like chords are moodier and you could say a lot more with a chord, just a single sustained chord. And it's just, I don't know, it's just less abrasive than a melody. That's kind of one of my touchstones of like a Galcher track is the chords got to be kind of soulful and warm. And,
Okay. Were you doing the graphic design, like, or you were just interested in like visuals?
You mean like
at this period, like when you were younger?
I wanted to do all the CD covers and stuff. I was super into album artwork, and I had like this Corel Draw. I don't know if you heard of that. It's like way old, like pre-Photoshop kind of thing. And I was like using that a little bit. I've always I've just been kind of a computer geek, so I've just been using a computer since like I was 10 or 11 years old. So anything to do with graphics or music, I was all like messing around with it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you decide you're gonna go to college, right? And you're gonna leave. Were you just dying to leave Cleveland, or?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, man. Well, being from Pittsburgh, I was kind of dying to leave Pittsburgh. Yeah. Because they're like, what, 2 hours apart? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much there for someone who's 18 and like wanting to, get into dance music. There's a few clubs in Cleveland, but they all cater to top 40.
Okay.
So that wasn't really my scene. So I kind of didn't, I went to like shows here and there, but it wasn't electronic music. It was mostly like indie or garage rock or rap, but not electronic.
Oh, okay. And then you were looking for that.
Yeah.
How'd you get into electronic music?
I think part of it was the aesthetic of it, like all the CDs that I would see at the store, and then another part of it is I just wasn't. I was like really late to rap music. My parents didn't understand it too well, and so they just kind of kept it away from me and said I couldn't buy, I couldn't buy like this Dr. Dre tape or whatever.
Because of the profanity.
Profanity and they just didn't get it. They were like old school, they're into Earth, Wind and Fire, like Luther Vandross and stuff. So they didn't get it. So they kind of kept that away from me for a while. But I sort of started seeking out different, black musicians that weren't just jazz or hip hop. So that led me to finding out about like drum and bass, and that was probably the first exposure for me to electronic music was like drum and bass, liquid drum and bass, like the real futuristic, jazzy stuff.
Okay.
And I was just super psyched that, I don't know, like someone that looked kind of like me, is out there doing like crazy stuff, like out in Europe and all that stuff. Like I was like, oh, these people are from the UK. That's cool. But it felt like something that I could see myself doing. Okay. Yeah.
And then that's when you started with the production side.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And when did you decide did you apply to other schools besides RISD?
Just art schools, other art schools. Yeah, I was pretty set on RISD. I mean, I would have gone to any of the other ones. Like, there's RISD, there's Pratt, Maryland, Savannah, SVA, Parsons.
Yeah.
Like, so, but RISD's kind of known as the best one of the bunch. So I had to say, I had to like make it work. What I mean? It's like, shit, this is like a once in a lifetime thing.
Yeah. So what did you imagine life would be like once you left Cleveland and you get to RISD?
Partying. I didn't really party that much in Cleveland, so I partied a lot in Rhode Island and went to a lot of shows and just kind of tried to find my footing. Like I was expecting, I think. I don't know. I mean, I did a summer program before I actually went there, so I kind of knew what the vibe was like. But I was just expecting kind of this crazy environment with like super creative people and like drawing all day, which is kind of what happens in the first year. You just do like a ton of rigorous foundational work. So I kind of got what I expected. Like I knew what I was getting myself into, and the thing that kind of like that I was put off or surprised by was coming to New York, because I had imagined, still skateboarding and going to San Francisco and just being like a skate rat that does graphic design for a living and just skates all day, and that's kind of what I thought it was going to be like. But then once I got into DJing in Rhode Island, it's slowly like turned into something else. Okay. Yeah. Like I started paying more attention to other cities for their scenes and their vibes, and less about like where I should live or where I should work. It was more just like what energies do I want to be around.
Yeah. So how did the DJing start?
I was on MySpace, and I think it was some like electro housey type song, like electro house from like 2006 or 2007. It's not like actual electro, but it's kind of this poppy 80s influenced disco house. I had some of that on my MySpace page. And this guy named Morgan Lewis just DMs me on MySpace. And he says, yo, you're into some cool stuff. I run a party downtown. Would you want to DJ it? And I'm just wondering, like, oh, does he even know that I don't DJ?
Yeah.
So I was like, man, he just must want, like, college kids to come to his party, which was kind of the truth. So I sort of started going there and, slowly started learning all the ropes. Like I started with Ableton, just syncing together songs, like a whole list of songs. And then eventually I was using Serato with the vinyls.
Okay.
And then after that, I was actually just using vinyl. So that whole journey was basically this guy Morgan's thing. He had a party called Pop, and it was at this gay club in Providence. It was on Tuesday night, and it was just lit. It was just totally lit. All the college kids would go there, get drunk. There was like a floor-to-ceiling mirror. People would be voguing in the mirror and stuff like that. It was cool.
And you do what? You DJ? How often would you DJ?
At one point, I was doing things like every month in Providence, which is kind of a lot to say for them. But yeah, it would usually be like 1 month, a Friday or a Thursday or a Tuesday. It started turning into kind of just this regular, like a residency, you would say. So there was a lot of, it's just kind of a blur to me now because they all kind of mixed together, all the nights.
What made you say yes to him? Because you didn't know how to DJ.
I didn't know how to DJ. I mean, I could put together a set, all right, like a mix. I don't know. I think, because it said Morgan, and I thought it was a girl who was messaging me at first. Yeah. And I don't know if that had any factors into it.
There's a potential.
But I was just, I don't know. I think I was just like, yo, this seems really dope.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like this warehouse show where you got a bunch of people like standing around a table. Like, this is like a proper club with loud sound and it's playing, this dude's playing like all the stuff that I'm into at the time. Plus more. Like, he just had way more knowledge on music and house music especially. So I don't know, I just was kind of bored, I think. Like, bored of school a little bit. Just wanted to do something else, like meet new people.
Yeah. Were you scared that first time you DJ? What was that like?
No. Well, the cool thing about this club was that the DJ booth is like all the way up in the corner on the second floor.
Okay.
So you can't even really see who's up there.
Yeah.
So that helped a lot. Yeah. And then later on, once we started moving to other venues, I feel like what gets me nervous is when there's unpredictable people around. Like DJing when you got some drunk guy and you're not sure if he's gonna like throw up on you or like scream or at you or trip and fall and pull out a plug. That always makes me mad nervous because there's always that guy.
So are you like how does your sound develop as a DJ and how does that inform your producing, like this stretch of DJing?
I mean, clearly it started around a weird time in dance music, I would say, like this blog house era. That's kind of when I started. And music was distributed via really shitty MP3s over blogs. So the sound quality was really bad. And I didn't even really know it was that bad at the time. And I think that sound quality informed the music, and the music started to get louder and more annoying and aggressive and like wonky, and it eventually kind of just turned into EDM at one point. And so I think I just decided to, I think we were paying, like me and my friends who we were DJing with, we were paying more attention to what was going on in Europe, like in Germany, Berlin, in the UK, because they just have much more mature club sense. I can remember the first time going to the UK and seeing Maurice Fulton DJ at Plastic People, which was like a legendary little club there, and the sound there was just perfect. I was able to just like hold a conversation and it would still be loud and like booming, and I'd never been in a sound system like that, so that almost kind of, it clicked in me then that sound quality is what really makes the party, takes it to another level. So I wanted to do that with my productions as well. I think it's just like ton of practice, a ton of listening, and eventually you sort of settle into a sound.
Yeah.
I can't really say how it's just been super organic. And I always kind of revisit the same stuff in terms of genres. I don't know if I think I could do a better job at discovering new music in other genres. Like at the moment, I'm kind of obsessed with video game soundtracks, and that's all I've been getting. Like I need to dig for this Nowadays party on Sunday, but I'm just like spending all day listening to like Persona 3 soundtrack or something,
and thinking how you can interpolate that into.
Maybe, I don't know. It's tough. Like all the songs are like a minute and a half long, and they're like super jazzy and flamboyant, and there's like some weird singing in it. But I think I just like that mood. I like the jazzy chords. I like the this kind of bittersweet sound that I think a lot of video game soundtracks, especially Japanese ones, kind of encapsulate that. So I don't know. I'm open to all types of things, but these days I feel like I'm more into like very calm sound. Nothing super harsh or loud or stressful. I'm more into giving my ears a break.
When did your first proper album come
out? 2016. It was finished in 2014.
What happened there?
Just record pressing problems. It was called Dark Bliss, and I don't know. It just came out.
How do you feel about an album that it's a 2-year period from until it comes out?
It sucked. I mean, at the time, we were, the label was on White Material, me and my homies. We were being hyped up, and people were buying our records, and they were selling out everywhere. And we felt like we had to, or I felt like I had very little time to ride that wave. And then when this 2-year delay happened, it really discouraged kind of everybody. Because we were just like, damn, we can't catch a break now. But yeah, that album, I just kind of sent a bunch of tracks to Young Male, the label guy, and he just picked 5 or 6, and then I filled it in with the other tracks. So when I make albums, it's really besides 200%, it's been like a collaborative process. I like to send people a big batch of songs and then they pick. Choose.
But what do you like about that?
It just feels like there's another creative voice in the room, and they may have a different read on things. So I just end up trusting who picks them. Like the Ghost for my latest album, Information. The people at Ghostly picked 4 or 5 of those, and once I knew those, I was like, all right, I can just flesh this out, and fill in the gaps. But yeah, it helps to. I mean, when you're in your own bubble, listening to the same songs like a dozen times, it's you don't know. After a while, everything sounds like shit. So,
so after Dark Bliss, the next one, 200%, comes out, and were you working on it during that period, waiting for Dark Bliss to come out?
No, the thing with 200% was me being very anxious to put stuff out and making things very quickly. So all the songs on 200% were made very quickly, probably like within the span of 6 months or so. So, and I was trying to replicate what I did with my 100% mix, where I just threw songs together, not knowing there would be, what they are. So I kind of wanted to bring that spontaneousness back with that record, and then put some instrumentals in just to like get more plays, get more Spotify plays.
It does. When does the voice come in? You rapping and all that. When do you start doing that?
I've always tried.
Do you call it rapping?
I got call it rapping just for the sake of like simplicity, but you know, like I tried singing a long while back. I still do like singing on some tracks, but it just took me a while to get a voice that I felt comfortable living in. Like, you know, I don't raise my voice very much. I don't scream, so it's hard to be like a loud rapper, which I was, you know, at one point trying to do, just after listening to like Wu-Tang or whoever. So I couldn't do the loud rap thing. I couldn't really do the singing, the like emo type singing that I wanted to do. But I realized like, you know, in my situation, I'm in New York. It's really quiet. It's really loud. There's no privacy. Yeah, I kind of want to be like comfortable just recording vocals whenever I want, and not like wake up the neighbors or whatever. So it's kind of like a combination of that and just me being comfortable with hearing my voice afterwards, because sometimes you hear your own voice and you're just like, so it was a natural thing. I would say the lyrics are what changed the most over the years, because I'm starting to come up with this lexicon that I don't even know how to describe, but it's kind of a mixture of like banal and luxury and mystery and leisure. So that makes it easier to write songs, because you kind of know what the subject matter is going to be before you go into it.
Does being Galcher Lustwerk allow you a freedom, because there's, I don't know, character, but kind of a separation?
As opposed to like me, my real identity.
Singing emo.
No, it does help. It helps me take more chances, I would say, because the digital footprint is just with that. It's not with like what I made before that or what I'm planning to make after. Like maybe one day I'll put out a Galcher album and it'll be like a total embarrassment, and I'll just be ready to start a new project. And I could just do that easily. When your real name's attached to it, it starts to get messy. Like people hit you up on your personal email instead of your business email, like stuff like that. So I just was coming into it. I was like, all right, I gotta just separate this very explicitly. Just split those two parts of my life in half. Which has its downsides too. Is
it weird? Did you have to get used to being called a different name?
No, that's kind of, it's such a weird name that like if you hear it, I know it's gonna be me. So
So from 200% to the new album, Information, how are they different? Did you go in wanting them to be with a different intention for Information?
With Information, I was really determined to integrate live drum sounds, and I was also determined to make more compact songs. Ones with like lyrics that are a little bit more the type that you listen to and less the type that you dance to. I just felt that Ghostly, when they hit me up for an album, I was thinking that they're kind of a good label to experiment with, because they do ambient, they do like classical, they do indie, they do electronic, so their audience is open to like you know, different kind of stuff. So I just took all my tracks that kind of were not clubby enough almost, and decided to work with those and integrate the live drum sounds and kind of deliver this kind of a deep house record that's also, you know, that feels like a band is playing it.
How'd you get that sound, the live drums?
I just have like drum samples, and I programmed it using a MIDI controller. And then just did a ton of like intricate reverb routing and stuff like that to make it sound like it's in a room and whatnot. Yeah.
Was it challenging? Was this?
No, not really. There's like a lot of programs out there that let you do digital drums like quite easily.
Okay. What do you work on now? What's your setup?
I use Ableton, and that's pretty much it. I have some plugins that I use here and there, but yeah, I used to have a ton of hardware, and I just keep selling it because I'm like not using it enough.
Yeah.
But I could just strictly be in the computer in Ableton, and just do everything there. Like sometimes I even record with the MacBook built-in microphone. So I'm all about speed and just getting things down quickly, ergonomics. So hardware usually bogs me down.
Okay. Have you always been like that, getting the stuff out quickly, or were you ever a belaboring type person?
Nah, yeah, I've always just like been like, fuck it. Yeah. Put it out there. But I mean, it's kind of like thinking about craft too much is annoying to me. Like thinking about, you're focused on the sound of the snare drum. Meanwhile, everyone else is focused on the whole song. Yeah. There's kind of a point of no return where you could just scrutinize every sound that you make. And for me, it's either like put it out quick or just wallow in it and just give up on it. All the songs that I work on for like long time, I just give up on because I'm just trying to make something work that's not working, basically. I usually just listen to my own songs like all day, every day. And the ones I get tired of, I know I'm just... I'll just throw those away. So all the songs that I've kept on records were songs that I've been able to listen to just over and over and over again. Never get tired of it.
Okay. How did you achieve that with information? Because it feels like, it's housey. You could listen to it in a club, right?
Yeah.
Or a chill room, whatever. But at home, it works also. Like, it's not like one or the other. You could do both with it.
Yeah. I mean, I made it at home.
Like, it's a dancey album that you could play at home?
I don't know. It's hard to say because I'm almost more informed by the sonics of dance music. So even if I were to try and make it a non-dance album, I always have the inclination to make the kick louder. Make bury the vocal a little bit, make the bass like super tight and clear. Just make it groove a certain way. Okay. So I think like, I don't know, even if it's a slow track, I feel like I'm really trying to pay attention to the groove. Okay. And sometimes imagine it being a club track that's just slowed down. Yeah. Like when I first found out about chop and screw music, that like blew my mind. Like just how much just slowing a track down changes its vibe and stuff. Yeah.
So you cannot not make it groove, basically. Is that
yeah. Or I mean everything, even like a straight groove can groove when you put something else on top of it. Okay. Like if it's like a straight beat, if you have a bass that's kind of like funny, it starts to work with the beat and like making it groovier. Okay. Yeah. I think there's like ways to like abstract grooviness, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Are you starting with making the beats first and then adding your vocals? Like, is there a way that you do it?
Yeah, I usually start with the beat, especially nowadays. Just because it gives you, with the beat, you can then move on to one thing, or you can move on to anything else after the beat, really. And vocals are usually last, but the whole process is oftentimes just like 20 minutes. Okay. Like I'll put a drum beat down, that'll take 5 minutes. Decide on like a melody or a bass, it'll take 10 minutes. Maybe like a pad or something, and then I got a pretty good loop going. and that's when I figure out if it's worth adding vocals to or not. If I'm just like riffing off of it or like coming up with things in my head, then I'll just record that right away.
Okay. Are you working on new? Are you always working on new music?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
Are you thinking for the next album, or the information just came out so it's too soon?
There's gonna be some stuff coming out this year. That's all I can really say about it. Yeah, but I'm always making music. I can never. I guess I took a little bit of a break for a while, but I was DJing still, so I feel like I don't ever take a break from music.
Yeah. And the DJing informs your music how?
I think it's a good way to constrain yourself. Like, if a track sounds good in a club, it'll sound good kind of anywhere, because clubs are unpredictable. You get weird reverbs and vibrations from the bass and stuff. And when I'm able to play my track in a club and it sounds like super tight, then I know for sure that it's done. You know, at least that aspect of it is done. So it just helps to set that standard. You know, because otherwise, I think I would still be making just kind of weird, noisy, like I'm trying to think of an example that's not bad of like bad sounding music. You know, I don't know, I think I would just be making things that are more esoteric and a little bit harder to grasp. I think I would just be more in my own head and not thinking about other people and how they react to it as much.
Okay. Makes sense. So where's the best place people can keep up with you, get the album?
Let's see. You can get the album on any streaming service. Galcher Lustwerk information. You can follow me on Instagram, which is lustwerk.music. All my other social media is pretty dead. I don't really like using it. So Instagram's kind of the best place to be. Yeah.
Sounds good. This was great. I enjoyed meeting you.
Cool.
I love your music.
Thank you.
And I wish continued success for you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Sure.
Tryna find, baby, like it's our baby.
and that was Bit from Information by Galcher Lustwerk. Check out his music on lustworkmusic.com. Check out his Instagram at lustwork.music. Links in the show notes, of course. I'm online several places, talkmusictalk.com, for more podcast information and to stream every single episode. Plus, you can find me on social media on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter at This Is Boice. Some special requests for you. Please subscribe to the podcast on Spotify, Stitcher Radio, iTunes, iHeartRadio, and pretty much everywhere else. Just search for Talk Music Talk with Boice. And when you are there, please leave a 5-star rating and or review to help grow the Talk Music Talk audience. There is also an app, a Talk Music Talk app. It is free wherever you like to get your apps. Again, just search for Talk Music Talk with Boice. And don't forget my other podcast, the Strandcast, the official podcast of Strand Bookstore here in New York City. Link in the show notes. Thank you so much for listening. Until next time, and there will be a next time, this one's for you, Liz.